How you doing, everyone? This is Kevin. I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be working on a set of leather suspenders. I've never built a set, but I think I have an idea how to build a set, and a good set that will last me a very long time. So I was asked on my YouTube channel, because normally I'm always wearing suspenders, where can I buy a good set of suspenders? To be honest with you, I've just bought those cheap ones at Walmart, and they're not really a good set of suspenders. I've went through I don't know how many sets of them, and they just keep breaking and breaking and breaking. So I thought we would just build us a set that's not going to break. So I'd like to take you guys along and show you how I'm going to build them. Let's do it. Okay, on this project we're going to be using the leather cutting tool. This is just to cut our leather strips, and if you guys, the ones that are watching my channel all the time, you've seen these strips that we had cut out of the leather. And this is the exact same leather that I build all my sheaths out of, my knife sheaths. And this is the leather we're going to be using. Now, I have an idea of how I'm going to build these. I did see a set. They're not mine. A buddy of mine had a set of leather suspenders, and I got some measurements off of them, and I took some pictures to kind of give me a guideline on how I need to build these suspenders. So I do have an idea of how I'm going to do it. So we're going to go ahead and get to cutting this leather up. Now, I do know that I had this tool is in one of my videos, so you guys all know basically how this tool works. And at the end of this video, in the description, I will leave a link to Amazon for these tools that I use, whatever I use. And if there's not something there, you let me know, I'll leave a link to it. But this thing is pretty slick, so we're going to go ahead and get, these are 3/4 inch strips. All the strips that we make are going to be 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to go ahead and cut us, we're going to need 4 strips out of this. This is a slick tool to use. So we got 1. And these are supposed to be about 33 inches long. I only have 30 inches of leather here, and it's going to be fine because I put his leather suspenders on, and I had plenty of room for the extra there. But these long ones, you're going to have 4. Well, I'm doing 2 sets, so you really only need 2 of them 33 inches long. Man, how slick this thing works. It's really awesome. So now we got our 4 strips. These are going to be part of our 2 sets of suspenders. Okay, on this I'm going to show you basically what you're going to need to build your suspenders. You're going to need 3 of these little guys here, and these are what actually hooks it to your belt loop. You're going to need 3 of them. And mine up here on the top, inside, is 3/4 of an inch. Inside, back and forth, 3/4 of an inch. And the same way with this piece here, 3/4 of an inch. So when you buy that, make sure it's 3/4 of an inch inside there. It'll say right on the pack when you get it. You're going to need 2 pretty long pieces of leather. These should be about at least 33 inches. I don't need that long, but to be able to put it on, say, like different size people, I think 33 inches on these. I'm using 30 because I know that I'm not that tall from my waist and back around, so I know basically what size I need. But if I was building these for someone else, I would want to make sure that they were at least 33 inches long. These will go up over the shoulder. Now, you're going to have 1 piece that will go down in the back. It will be cooked in the middle here to the two longer ones that will go down to the belt loop in the back. This one here has to be about 9 inches long. You want it longer than that because you have to allow for bending it over and putting your hook in. So you're going to have to leave it a little bit longer so you can have that bend in there. Mine are about 13 inches or something. Let's see. About 13 inches long. Now the only two that I have question about is the two in the front. Actually, the back one is 10 inches that goes up the back, and the two front ones are 9 inches. But they might have to be a little bit longer. By the time I put this bend in it and sew it, and then I have to put a bend up here and sew it for this piece, it may not work out as well. Might need these to be a little bit longer than 13 inches. So we're going to get started, and we're just going to do a couple pieces here. We can at least ways get the back piece on, and maybe start working on this triangle up here and the two straps that go over the shoulders. Alright, the first piece I want to work on is this piece here that goes it's in the very center of your suspenders that goes down your back to hook to your belt loop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean the edges up on this real quick, and that way I don't have to worry about when we get them put together. I won't have to worry about stripping this down. So I'm just going to clean up the edge. Okay, we got that done. We're going to go ahead and wet this down here. This is going to be the piece that bends around your buckle, should I say. And you have to kind of wet this leather because it may break on you if you don't. So we're going to get it good and wet. And that water will allow us to bend this over and get it where we want it. And I'm thinking that when I bend mine, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew mine, and I'm going to sew it and put a rivet in it, because I don't really ever want these to come apart. I want them to last for a long time. I don't want to have to go build a new set anytime soon. So we're going to go ahead and get to attaching this piece here. Okay, I went through all my rivets, and I don't actually have the color rivets that match these guys here. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to glue these down, and we're going to sew them, and then I can come back later when I get the rivets, and then I can put a rivet in here. But for now, we're just going to have to settle for glue and stitch. Now, when you buy these, they don't have a rivet in them anyhow. They're just stitched. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but I wanted them to last for a long time. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to stitch them. I think they'll be okay stitched. Rivet was just a little extra support, but we'll keep that in mind when we have to build another set. So what I'm going to do now is get these glued together, and then get them sewed up. Get this piece here sewed up. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get this one stitched up, and we'll have at least that piece done. Okay, I got that stitched. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but these are super hard to stitch because of that buckle being on there. I mean, there might be an easier way of doing it, but I had a hard time stitching it. It took me a good while to get those stitches in there. But I don't think they look too awful bad. They're not the greatest, but I never claimed to be a professional either. But I think that's going to work. So I double stitched it pretty much almost all the way around. So it's got some real good heavy stitching in there, and we glued it too. So it might be okay here. Alright, since we got this thing sewed up pretty good, don't look too bad. We're definitely going to know these are homemade. So what I've done now is I did a lot of figuring on this little triangle piece that goes on the back. And it seemed like every time I cut a template out and I measured it, it always looks crooked. But I think we're going to be okay. And these little plates I made will be where it hooks. These two straps that go over your shoulders and the strap that hooks to your belt loop in the back, that's where they'll go. This piece here will. I have two of them. We're going to sandwich it in between them both, and that's what I'm going to use to hold them together. So what I did is I marked these. That's 3.5 inches there. So I just marked them in the halfway point, and that way I'll know where my straps go on the inside. So I got them both marked. I'll lay this up under here. Now these straps that go over your shoulders, I cut this in an angle so it would sandwich them closer together. I cut them both a little bit closer. They'd be a little closer and they fit in that triangle. And now I'm just going to lay these guys out and see what they look like. My problem is, well, of course I've never done this before, but what I'm going to do is I need to make sure these guys are straight. And I thought maybe I would take, I'm going to glue these first, and I would take this straight edge up the middle and try to make sure the two top pieces up here that go over your shoulders are kind of straight with each other. And I think I could do that. I just got to sit and figure this all out. This is a tough one for me, because you would think you just put them together, but it's not like that. You can't just put them together. You got to make sure they look right. So since we got this one cut underneath here, we're going to go ahead and get these guys glued on here, and then we'll, once we get them to where they'll stick a little bit, maybe we can work on getting them in the right position that will go up over your shoulders. So let's go ahead and get some glue down. I think I'm pretty close right there to what I want. I don't think you want them over your shoulders. You don't want that real wide up on the top where it goes over your shoulders. You want it to be close to your neck. Not too close, but yet not too far away, because these things will move. They're going to move. So we got that glued on there. Now all we have to do now is get our other piece glued on there. Once we get our other one glued on there, we're going to clamp these together and let that glue dry real good, because then I'm going to have to mark it out where I'm going to put the stitches and how I'm going to get this thing stitched together. I've been wanting to buy a branding tool for my leather, and just like a maker's mark, and this is where I wanted to put my maker's mark, right on that triangle right there, but I don't have it yet. So we're going to let this set up a little bit, and then we'll get to stitching this guy up real good. Alright, I got these two glued on, and I got my stitch marks. All I got to do now is just drill these out, and we're going to go ahead and start stitching this piece up. So we'll have this piece done. I'll tell you what, these things have been harder to sew than anything that I think I've ever made, because of the the buckle and then having these long straps. So whoever does this, I'm not sure whether they have a different kind of a stitching pony or how that works, but definitely harder to sew. Taking me a lot more time now to get these stitched. A lot more time. Of course, I'm not really good at it, but we're going to work through it. We're going to get this set built, and then hopefully by the time we do the second set, I'll be a little bit better at it, and we can have a little nicer job. But everything comes with practice, so the more practice, the faster we'll be able to do them, and the better they're going to look. Okay, we got it all sewed. I don't think it looks too bad, really, honestly. I don't think it's too bad. What I'll do is I'll take a little bit of water and put on it, just to moisten it up a little bit more, and then we'll take this stitching wheel and we'll go over top of this. This will help push some of the leather back down in and make it look nice. It looks better when you do that. Just kind of straighten the leather or the threads out a little bit. See how much better that looks? It's hard to see this, especially when you're trying to do it on film, and then you want to keep your eyes in there and mine, and sometimes it could be a little bit rough. But I think it looks okay. For me, I think it looks okay. Anybody else? I don't know. Does that look better? I think it does. I think it looks pretty good. Not too bad. Now, if I had a maker's mark, right in here is where I'd want to put it. Right in here on this little piece right here, which I thought would look pretty cool. So we got this piece stitched up now, and then we got the two that goes over the shoulder stitched together. Now this is glued and stitched. We'll have to clean this up a little bit. It don't look the greatest, but I think we can clean it up. And now on this side, these are going to be a little pointy, and it's going to have all the holes for where your buckle's going to go. So yeah, this is looking pretty good so far. Okay, now the two pieces that we had cut for the two straps in the front, I went ahead and cut two new ones because I don't think they were long enough. So I cut the two new ones. I got two new ones here about 15 inches long. Because I think I was a little short on these two long ones in the back, and at 33 inches with them, and I think I'm short 3 inches on these. So the other ones were 13. I cut these 15 inches long. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get two of these guys. I'm going to do the same thing and get these put on here and get them sewed into place. So I'll have two of these on the bottom. This is what's going to connect in the front to your belt loop. These two will be in the front. Since we got this one done right here, it goes in the back. We'll work on them too, and then we'll finish out the rest of this, these long ones, putting the holes in it once we get these two front ones built. Okay, I had to make two of these little guys right here, and they're going to go on these top pieces where the buckle goes, and it'll go up into here, so you'll be able to put your strap down through there to keep it out of the way. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's how it's going to sit in there. And I just drilled a couple holes there and used some of that real strong thread. I have some real tough thread but like wax on it, and I used it on there to make two of these. And I just took a couple needles and I bent them so they would go up through there so I could sew them back and forth. I think it worked out okay. So we got two of these made, and that's a pretty good setup, I think, here. So what we got to do now is we got to get our buckle ready to put in here, and we have to cut a slice down the center of this guy in order for this thing to be able, for this piece here to go up and down. I'm not sure how this, how it works, but I would say I'm going to find the center there and punch two holes and then cut from one hole to the other hole. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I just eyeballed them up, and we're going to go ahead and punch two holes. We're just going to do our best and see how it works here. One hole there. One hole here. Then we'll take our razor blade. We'll cut from one circle to the other. Then I'm just going to take my razor blade. I'm going to go a straight edge from one hole to the other hole, like so. And we're going to cut that center out of there. Like that. And I think I'll go here, just take this guy, slide it up through there, and then we'll sew that thing like right there. And that will give this room to move around in there. I think that worked out pretty good there. And then this will be sewed in between these two pieces, which we'll glue, and then we'll stitch across, and that should hold that on there pretty good. So that's what it should look like when it's done. Okay, we have these two pieces built. These are the front two pieces that will hook to your belt loop, to the suspenders. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch these. We're going to put row of stitches there, row of stitches there, and then later if I want to come back and put a rivet in here, I can. And then we're going to put a row of stitches here and a row of stitches here. And I think these will be almost done. We got to get these put together. We'll have the suspenders. We do got a lot of cleaning up to do, different things to do, but we're going to go ahead and get these stitched all up so they're done. Alright, what I'm doing here, and these are the straps that go over your shoulder, the big 33-inch straps that will go over your shoulders and buckle in the front. And I've just taken a razor blade and carved this kind of in a round shape, which I'll do the same thing with this one here. And we'll just kind of make it rounded a little bit. And then we'll sand these to get them to go through where we want, through the buckle and everything. So we'll just take our time here and carve these out and get them sanded up the best, whenever we see how we want it to look. And and then we're going to start punching our holes in. And how we're going to do that is, I thought, keep bumping my camera here, I thought what I would do is come up 1 inch from the bottom of this and just go 1 inch marks and make 1 inch marks all the way up through there, and then punch holes in it with my hole puncher here. That way we'll have a place for our buckle. So that's what I'm working on now, and I still have to take my edger and edge all this and clean it up, but well, basically once we get this done, all the construction pretty much is done. We just got to clean it up. So I'm going to work on getting these all punched out 1 inch, getting this cleaned up and the edges cleaned up. Alright, as you can see, we have all of our holes in here, and now I'm just going to take this little edging tool and I'm going to edge all this, these straps. We're just going to work that edger down each one of these and clean them up. Okay, now that we got all the edges cleaned up and all our holes in there, this is what we really, the main thing we wanted to do was to be able to latch these in and then put them down through here, so we'll have our buckle in the front. And that's basically what it's going to look like. And I think we did a fairly decent job on that. I think that turned out pretty nice. So our suspenders as of now are finished. But I'm going to take some of the brown antique gel, and we're going to use that on these suspenders, and then we'll use the slicker tool a little bit, and we should have these suspenders finished up. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting my antique gel on, and I think these are almost done. Now, since our antique gel has dried up there, got it wiped off and everything, I'm going over this with some saddle soap. This is going to help soften the leather and protect it, and we'll be able to use our slickering tool on this. This should be pretty nice. These do look antique. I mean, I think they do. I think they turned out really nice. So we got them all coated real good. Tried to make sure we didn't leave any spots out before we started putting that saddle soap on. So these really, I think they really look pretty nice. All I gotta do now is get a clean rag, wipe them up, and slick the edges, slick these a little bit. I probably should have done that to begin with, but this is my first set, so hopefully, I'm sure they're what we want. That's what we made. So I'm gonna get to slicking these guys up a little bit. All right, our suspenders are done. I used a slicker tool on them. Everything is finished, and we had went from using the 3/4 inch stripper, and we came up with our own set of suspenders. Now, I did tell you in the video that I would be doing some rivets, but I didn't have that color rivets, so I still can put rivets in this. I left room everywhere to put rivets if I want to. To be honest with you, I don't think it really needs the rivets. I got a lot of good thread in there, and I don't think I'll have any problem with these coming apart. So now all I gotta do is try them on, see how they work. And then I'll take these, bring them up around my back, and put them over my shoulders. Hopefully I'm straight in the back. feel like they are. And I'll hook my front ones on. One belt loop. Put it down through. I may need to cut some more holes. These are a little bit long. They are just a little bit long on me. I think that they could be a little shorter. I did cut 3 inches off the long parts of these in the back. These big long strips I cut 3 inches off. So they would actually be even longer than what they are now if I wouldn't have cut that off. So it looks to me like, you know, me trying these on, I'm in the last hole up here on both sides. So I may want to cut one more hole. Then again, that doesn't feel too bad. And when you, like me, I don't have no butt. My wife usually makes fun of me. So I have to wear a set of suspenders because when I bend over, even if I have a belt on, my pants still want to come off. So I hope I got them straight back here. I can't see, but I think they're pretty nice. All right, now after cutting these off, I still have 4 more inches that I can go up if I need it. I think it's much better right there, and I think they turned out pretty nice. They feel really good for a set of homemade suspenders. I love them. So I would like to tell everybody thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment if you'd like. Till next time.